Hello, welcome to the training and troubleshooting tutorial for the Goddess Temple app 2.0. Little bit of history. In 2020, I started working with a particular company to develop the Goddess Temple app, and we had the first round of that app for 2 years. This year, I've moved to a new provider, and so we are working functionally within an entirely new app. So I'm creating this little training and tutorial so that we can see some of the key features of the new Goddess Temple app 2.0, and so that you can ask questions. If you have questions that don't get answered in this broadcast for whatever reason, maybe you're watching later, or maybe something comes up that you don't understand, you're always welcome to either put a message to me at Priestess Yesha in the Goddess Temple app, or you can send an email to info@sacredwell.com, and that will go to me and I can answer you via email. But probably you'll get a quicker answer if you ask in the app, just because my notifications there are a shorter list than in my email. So in order to just get in, the first thing I wanted to just share is that if you're on whatever type of phone, either an iPhone or a Google-based phone, you're going to want to look under the offerings in that store for this icon. It's a little white lotus on the background of a red square, and it says Goddess Temple app 2.0. And it's free to download this app. And when you get into the app, once you've downloaded it, what you'll probably see is a screen that looks like this. Sign up. I invite you to enter your email and then create a password and confirm it and click sign up. You'll see that you could also use your Apple or your Google accounts to sign in, but I would just like to point out that if you use your Apple or your Google account to sign in, it will mean that it's harder for me to communicate with you via email if I ever need to send you an email about something that's happening or an update. So I do think it's probably better if you use your regular email. Once you have signed up, you can sign in, and your login screen looks like this. And you can just type in your email and in the and your password. And once you do that and you log in, then it will take you to the let me do this again. There we go. Then it will take you to a page that's marked Explore. And that Explore page, if you have absolutely everything that you can possibly have in the app, every possible membership, it will look like this. Otherwise, the Explore page will have various different options of things you can sign up for. Right now, we have the Goddess Temple membership, which is free of charge, open to all. We have Mandala membership, which is a monthly charge, and you can just stay a member for as long as you want and sign off whenever you want. Or we have, which I think is the best value, a lifetime membership, which is basically you pay for 10 months worth of subscription, but you get lifetime access to all the features in the app that come along with Mandala membership, which includes our online ceremonies, full and dark moons, Sabbats, our monthly Sybil Salon, our monthly Crystal Visions Salon, and occasional other things that come up. So once you log in, if you see that it automatically takes you to this Explore page and it's offering you options, that doesn't necessarily mean that you haven't signed in properly. It just means there are other options that you haven't taken yet. And you can just click right out of there to either the Classes tab or the Temple tab or the Check-ins tab, or if it's your first time, I suggest you go directly to the Profile tab. And the profile tab takes you to a screen that looks like this. You'll notice when you first sign in that you don't have a name on your profile because once you get in, you have to enter your name. So on your profile tab, scroll down until you see account settings, click on that, and in that space, you can either add a photo, you can add your name, your first name, last name. If you need to update your email, you can update your email in there, and you can change your password in there. A note, if you have a title in the temple, especially like the priestesses of the temple are like Priestess Yesha, Priestess so-and-so, Priestess so-and-so. If you type priestess as the first name, and then a space, and then your given name or your magical name, what'll happen when people try to tag you is it'll only tag up to the space break. So it'll just say @priestess. And that could be any of us, because there are several of us who have that title in the temple. One way that I've found to fix this is to just take the space out. So my name in the app, as you'll see, is @Priestess Yesha, all one word. And that's what I put, Priestess Yesha, as my first name. And then instead of putting a last name, because not everyone feels comfortable sharing their last name on social media, I put a dove. Everyone knows my last name is Matthews. It's, like my name is other places in the Mount Shasta Goddess Temple universe, so you'll know my last name. But I just wanted to have a little emoji as my last name in the app, so I have a little dove. And in the future, I may change that emoji to other things. And this is like a fun way that you can play around with your name in the app. And I also recommend that if you have a magical name that you prefer to go by, that you go ahead and make that your name in the app. And that's the name then that we'll call you. I know that some people, might just be taking on a magical name or unsure of one. Just so you know, you're never locked in. And if, for example, you've used one name, but in time you decide you'd like to take on a magical name or a different name, you can always change that in your profile settings in the personal details. Then once you've entered your name, you're going to go up to the top right and you're going to click save. And once it's saved, then you can just push that back arrow to get back out of that screen, back to your profile. One thing you'll notice when you're updating your profile and putting your picture there is that the camera icon is always on top of your picture. And that's just to let you know that you're able to edit it. That camera icon won't show up on top of your picture anywhere else. It'll just be in your settings. And it's just to let you know this is where you click to change your picture. And again, feel free to update your picture whenever you like. If you're somebody who's very private and would prefer to put a picture of a flower or a picture of your cat or a picture of nature instead of a picture of your face, that's fine, no problem. We're not forcing anybody to put a picture of their face, and we understand that everybody has different comfort levels of privacy with social media. Now, there's a cool factor that you can kind of see in your profile when you're just on this screen of the profile, which is your current activity completion streak. So if you're going through a series of lessons, or if you signed up for a class with the app, you can see how many days in a row or how many lessons in a row you've done. Like if you've logged in, 25 days in a row and done the work, then it'll show up there. You'll also see a badge that says total activities completed. So if you've taken multiple different classes or you've looked at multiple different articles in the classes section, as soon as you mark those complete, those are logged into your account as complete, and you can see all of the activities that have been completed in time, as well as all the activities completed in the last 30 days. Last but not least, there's a square there that shows you how much time you've spent in the Goddess Temple app in the last 30 days. And if, for example, you're somebody who's closely tracking your time on your phone, you're able to see that there. And that can be helpful. You can also see, and I don't have any live notifications right now because when I logged in before, I accidentally clicked on them. And so now I've marked them as seen. But when you have a notification, if someone has replied to something that you posted or replied to one of your comments, or if somebody has tagged you in something, there will be a little red dot up here on the right side of the screen across from the word profile. If you click on that little red dot, it'll show you where you have messages, where you have tags, where you have replies, and if somebody has interacted with one of your posts. I've had a couple folks ask me, hey, why don't I get notifications just on the screen of my phone? I used to get notifications in the old app that showed me like 5 or 10 people had replied to something that I did, and now I'm not seeing those. For some of the apps that, are working in some of the phones, you are going to see that. I've just submitted the most recent update of this app software to the Apple Store. It's currently in review, and according to the tech team, we will begin to see the development of having our notifications right on the screen where we look at when we look at our phone. But for now, when you log in, you will see a little red dot on the bottom next to the word profile, and you'll also see a little red dot on the profile page up at the top, and that's where you go to click so that you know if someone has sent you something, tagged you in something, or responded to something. So the main place where we're communicating in this app is under the temple heading. So if you click temple at the bottom of your screen, which is directly in the middle, it will take you to basically one or more different discussion areas. If you've signed up for the free Goddess Temple membership, then you'll have access to the Goddess Temple area, which has 8 channels in it. The 8 channels in the Goddess Temple area are personal shares, which is a place to introduce yourself, the bazaar, which is a place to offer your wares or goodies for sale, Goddess Discussion, which is a place to post articles, photos of various different sacred sites or places you've visited or blogs you've written about goddesses, anything that you want to share that's related to goddess. It could be something you wrote, something someone else wrote that's more on the intellectual side. That goes in Goddess Discussion. Then we have Flora and Fauna, which is a place to basically post photos of our gardens and our pets, because those things are really important. We have Temple Notes, which is where I'm primarily posting messages about the app, about things happening in the temple, upcoming different situations that you might see. There's the Devotion and Grace area, which is all of our photos of things like photos of our altars, our Guanyin practice daily divinations, our mantra counts, our Brigid flame tending. If you have a prayer you've written or anything like that, that goes under Devotion and Grace. Then there are prayer and energy requests, which is a space that if you need to ask for support or you know someone else who might benefit from the temple's support, you can post a prayer request. And then we have Sitting with the Dead, which is a space for the discussion of death, dying, and grieving. It can be a place where we post about ancestral memorials. It can be a place where we post about people who have passed on, where we share articles about death, dying, and grieving. So those are the main channels of the Goddess Temple section. Now, then if you've signed up for Mandala membership, or if you were a member in the old app and you've been given a lifetime membership in this new app, The next thing you'll see on your screen underneath Temple will be Mandala members. So Mandala members has 5 channels: ceremony and event info, birthdays and milestones, crystal visions, cosmogenetrics, and Sybil Salon. And these are the areas where we share content for members of the temple only. So if you've joined this app and you're signed up for the free Goddess Temple membership, just so you know, this area is open discussion for anybody who wants to join. It's free. It will always be free. It's open to all. It will always be open to all. But the Mandala members section is for those who have signed on for the monthly Mandala membership or for the lifetime membership. And that's where we share a little bit more personal info. The ceremony and event info is where I post all the information about the dark moons, the new, dark moons, the full moons, the Sabbats, and other related events. Our birthdays and milestones are where we can post, hey, it's my birthday, or happy birthday to so-and-so. We have somebody whose birthday it is today, but I won't call her out. We have the Crystal Visions Salon, and in birthdays and milestones, you could also post, hey, my kid graduated from college, or hey, I had, I got married, or I got engaged. Any good news that you want us to celebrate with you, we are a temple full of people who want to cheer you on with your good news. So feel free to share that in there. Under Crystal Visions, right now, there's not a ton, there's just a little bit, but pretty soon, I will be starting to share more content in that area, like starting January 2023, where we have our monthly online crystal gathering. And in this gathering, usually I bring 1 or 2 stones. We talk about their lore, how to work with them, a little bit about the geology of them, how they were formed, and what they've historically been used for in crystal healing. In 2023, I'm really excited about having a segment of the monthly Crystal Visions where every month we're going to look at a different meteorite that has hit this planet and learn about when it hit, what it was like, how it can be used, or how you can see some of it if it's not something that, has been scattered to where you can have a piece of it. I had an inspiration that this year is a good year for us to start to analyze meteorites a little bit more closely as a wonderful example of the union of heaven and earth. So coming up, Crystal Visions, meteorites, as well as stones. We have the cosmogenetrics area, which for all lifetime or mandala members of the app is free to attend online. We also are going to, in 2023, begin having an in-person component, which will be for a separate fee to cover the rental of the space where we're going to be having the event. But I'm looking to create a hybrid event where people can be in person or people can attend online. If you're attending online for mandala members and lifetime members, it's always free of charge. If you come in person, there's a cost just to cover the space rental. And then finally, we have our Sybil Salon, where not a lot is going on yet because it's still something that's coming up starting in January of 2023. It's a new event. Up until recently, for the last several years, I've been offering a monthly tea and tarot salon, and we finally have come to the end of that event this past week. And starting in January, there's going to be the Sybil Salon, which is more about kind of widespread approaches to divination, not only tarot, but tarot as well as the many other forms of divination that we study in our Via Carmen Pythia program. So you'll see more action happening in there beginning in January, where there will be a monthly video gathering, and those monthly videos will address everything from theory to practice and interviews with practitioners. I just want to mention here, if at this time you're only seeing the mandala membership area and you're not seeing the Goddess Temple membership area, if you go to that Explore tab and scroll down to the free Goddess Temple membership and click on it, and then click to get instant access, that will add that area as well as its 8 channels along with you. So if you are only seeing the Goddess Temple area and you'd like to upgrade to see the Mandala membership area, then you'll either want to select on that Explore page the monthly Mandala membership or the lifetime membership. In either way, whatever you choose, that will get you access there. So I want to just make sure that everybody's got access to everything, because there is a lot of cool stuff going on, but you have to be the one to click the button to say, yes, I want to be here. If I try to subscribe you to one or more of the channels, it may or may not take, because the app wants you to be the initiator of the action, doesn't want me to subscribe you, which I'm sure you can understand. We wouldn't, want me to be signing people up for things that they didn't want. So in that temple area, just for those who are active students and priestesses in the temple, there's also a Mount Shasta priestesses segment. And there's also, for those who have graduated our priestess training, a Council of Wise Women segment. So if you belong to one of the priestess trainings, and you would like to get access to the Mount Shasta priestesses area, that's either with Woman Shaman Priestess or Flight of the Sky Dancer, or either of the Via Carmen Pythia programs, then you can just reach out to me and let me know, hey, I'm supposed to be in here. And for those who are just signing up for priestess training now, it's currently end of November 2022. You will be added to that area beginning in January 2023. So you'll have access to the Mount Shasta priestesses area. And for those who are about to graduate the priestess training program from Flight of the Sky Dancer, you will also be able to access the Council of Wise Women area should you sign on for membership in that group, where information is forthcoming. So we're not going to go into a great deal of detail about those areas right here, because this is more of a general tutorial, but just letting you know that those areas are there. And if you are supposed to be in one and you're not seeing it, please let me know so that I can help you get in. All right, so 2 other things in the app that I wanted to make sure everybody can see. One is the classes section. Now, the classes section is a mishmash of different things. There are classes in there. For example, the current round of the Priestess Maxims class is in there. And there's also a getting started tutorial in there, which you'll see down at the bottom. And up at the top is our daily devotions, which isn't exactly a class, but it fit really well with this format. And basically, it's where month by month you can go and see all the videos that I've made of our daily devotions. That's Guanyin practice, as well as the daily divination. I've started posting just the photo of the card and the message of the daily divination in the devotion and grace section of the app. So you can just go read that. But if you want to watch the video or catch up with it later in the day, you can click on that daily devotions tab and you'll be able to see I have it listed by date. And what I'm basically going to do from here forward is I'll keep up like the last few days of the month and then do the month that's current. And then I'll delete those except for the last few days and move on to the next month. If you want to, and I can't imagine anyone needing to, but if you decided you wanted to go and watch the entire archive of Guanyin practice from the first to now from the this round, I do have all of those videos on a Guanyin's Millionaires channel on my YouTube. So just look me up on YouTube and look for Guanyin's Millionaires, and you can go back and watch as many videos as you like, which when I'm away traveling, some people like to catch up with practice, so they might go watch one of the old videos. In this area of classes, you're going to start to see in January of 2023, our goddesses and guides lessons will begin to appear. So some of you may remember from the old app that I had all of this content about the temple's goddesses, ancestresses, stones, trees, herbs, archetypes, animals. All of that is coming back, but it's going to be posted in there starting in January. So it hasn't gone away forever. It's coming back, and you'll be able to access all of those monthly details, and you'll see all of that coming up pretty soon. There will also be some new classes coming in this section of the app in 2023. Namely, we're going to have the Raise the Temple class. This past year, we worked month by month on Raise the Temple. So it now is a series of 12 lessons and videos to accompany those lessons. And I will be posting that in there starting at the first of the year. So anyone who wants to sign up for the Raise the Temple class will be able to go and sign up to take that class. There will also be a new class coming starting in April of 2023, which will be a 3-month Priestess of Aphrodite training. It's a separate breakout training, just working with the forms of Aphrodite that we work with here in the temple, connecting some of the mythos of Aphrodite to modern day events, connecting some of the historical places and sites of Aphrodite with photos and images and activities that you can do to bring forward more of Aphrodite's love, beauty, grace, and elegance, splendor into your life. And I'm really excited about working this way, where we're going to have these sort of shorter term breakout goddess specific trainings that are for deepening one's relationship with the goddesses of this temple mandala. And my plan is that each year I'll add 1 or 2 more goddesses who will then have a training. But it takes me about a year to prepare any class that I offer, because I put myself through all the paces before I bring it out to you. So I've been putting myself through the Aphrodite paces this year, and I'm super excited to share Aphrodite with you in 2023. And it's my hope that individuals who have loved coming to the Aphrodite Priestess training might also want to accompany me on Aphrodite pilgrimage next fall. So those are just a few things about, things that are yet to come in this segment of the classes. Now, some of you have asked me, and really a great question, to say, well, I used to have access to the Priestess Maxims class in the old app, and I don't have access to it yet in the new app, and I'm missing some of those pieces. I am just going to ask your patience with me, because currently all of the Priestess Maxims material is being prepared for publication in a book. And so currently I have all of it basically there for the people who are coming in who have to take the prerequisite class. But come January or February, I'm hoping sooner rather than later, it will be available in a book form, and then you can have it and actually have it in a tactile form. If you have graduated the Flight of the Sky Dancer training and you're now a part of the Council of Wise Women, you do have access to all the Priestess Maxims lessons. That's, because it's a prerequisite for the priestess training. It wasn't always, but it is now. So I'm doing my best to make sure everybody has what they need so that we're all on the same page. Okay, last but not least, on the phone, you have this area called check-ins down at the bottom. It's right next to your profile. And when you come to the check-ins page, I know it's backwards here, but when you come to the check-ins page, you'll see there's one area marked lessons and homework, and another area marked app issues. If you are taking any class with me and you want to just write a little note with your responses or questions or things that have come up in the course of the training, you can put a check-in in the lessons and homework area. You will enter your name. There will be a opportunity for you to share a photo. There will be an opportunity for you to write a reflection, ask any questions. And as you go along in that check-ins area, it's also a great place to say like, oh, I finished this homework, or I haven't finished this homework. I'm confused. Can you help me? And that'll give me, I don't look at those every single day, but at least once a week or so, I go in and I look at those. And that way, if anyone's had any questions, I can get to that. Secondly, if you are having any issues with the app, it's not working, something's causing problems, something's not, kind of easy for you, then you can make a report in that app issues area. And the one thing that I would really, really appreciate if you would do would be if you would please link a screenshot of what you see. If there's a problem, if the text doesn't look right, if something isn't showing up properly, please put a screenshot. Just snap that screenshot and put it in when you tell me about your app issue. What I do with that information is I take that to the help desk for the app developers, and then they can help me solve those problems. In some cases, it's something I can solve quickly. In other cases, it's going to take me a little bit more time. I may have to go ask someone because I'm still learning too. So that's just the quick overview of where we're at right now. Under that temple section in the future, there's likely to be more groups. Under the classes section in the future, there will be more classes. Under the explore section, there will always be other things that maybe you haven't signed up for yet that are just there saying, hey, are you interested in this? Just so you know that, all of that is completely normal, and I'm excited to share with you in the discussion areas of the temple, excited to see your check-ins in the check-ins section. I love sharing the content in the classes section, and the explore section is just for if ever you think, is there anything going on here that I didn't know about? So now I'm going to address some of the questions that have come up as we've been going along with the app. So there is the first question here is, how do I get notified when you start morning practice and when everyone posts? That's a really good question. And I think that probably the notifications for me starting a practice, I think are not going to be found in the app as accurately. I think what'll happen more is if you just go into the classes section and you look and see if the date is there for that day and click on it, then you'll come in. But if you do want a daily notification, like practice is starting right now, I suggest that you go to my YouTube and subscribe to my channel there so that you will get notifications in your email when I go live. It's a current function of this app that it's not giving me prompts that I can send when I go live. I am hoping that that will come together. Let's see. So we had a question. I only have 5 channels showing, but now you know to go into the explore section and click on Goddess Temple free and click access immediately. Then in the Mount Shasta Priestesses section, is there a Flight of the Sky Dancer channel? There isn't now. When I start the next round of Flight of the Sky Dancer, I will probably put it in there, but since we're just 1 month to the end, basically I'm asking folks now just to connect with me either directly, or we'll put any general posts into the general discussion of the Mount Shasta Priestesses area. But once I start a new version of the class, then that will be in there. And so for anybody who's currently enrolled, I'm super sorry that this last kind of quarter of the year, there's like a gap in some of our normal communications, but it will be kind of coming back around when we start the new year and the new cycle of classes. And what is my YouTube channel? I'm under Yesha Matthews. So it's YouTube, and then just type in Yesha Matthews and you'll find me right there. It's a big banner with the moon on it and you'll see my face. I had a couple questions that folks sent in, so I want to just address those. Let's see if I can find it in here. Okay. So someone's asking, is there now or will there be a place where all of the Woman Shaman Priestess and Sky Dancer lessons are available for those who completed them? Since we've switched from email lessons to having them in the app, I don't see them anymore. And that also is applicable for the Via Carmen Pythia program. People are wondering, like, where's all the lessons from the last 2 years? This is all part of the book creation that's happening right now. So come January 2023, if you have completed 1 year of Via Carmen Pythia, 1 year of Woman Shaman Priestess, 2 years of Woman Shaman Priestess and Flight of the Sky Dancer, 2 years of Via Carmen Pythia, you will be receiving a physical book with all of your lessons in it and with pages where you can write your reflections or you can journal about the things that you learned or the things that you did in the course of your assignments. I really want these teaching guides to be in a physical, tangible form because I've been teaching this material for the last 5 years, and the number of people who have told me that they like have binders where they printed out emails and put them in the binder, I feel guilty that I didn't think to put it in a book myself. So I know for some of you, it's like, wait, I like to go back and review and reread the lessons. I totally get it. I do too. This is part of the reason why I teach it every year, is because I then get to go back and review my own protocols and level up my own skills. So we will have a book, and in the book you'll have that physical, tactile, and it'll also be available on Kindle if you prefer. So come January, there will be an email that goes out that says, do you prefer a physical copy or do you prefer a Kindle copy? And then I will make that available to you so that you can get it in whatever form works best for you. Then someone, sent a really honest email that said the new app is really hard for me to figure out and it's just discouraging. I don't know where to find things. I totally understand. And I'm, my heart goes out to anyone who's been feeling technologically challenged or discouraged. I really want this to work. I'm just going to go ahead and share that, I moved to this system because at the old system, it was breaking down so often that even though it was aesthetically really easy to navigate, there were often so many problems that people had with logging in and lag times, and I didn't always have the technical support that I needed. And for the last 6 months of working with that provider, if I sent them a query at their help desk, I would basically not get an answer, or I'd just get an auto reply that said, we've seen your question and we'll get back to you if we can. And then I never heard back from them. And it was really frustrating. So at this new system, even though there are still things we have to work out, when I have a question, I can actually go and schedule a face-to-face Zoom with a member of their help team, and I'm able to actually ask my questions and get real-time answers. And if there's something that that person doesn't know how to do, they can escalate it quickly up the chain so that I can connect with somebody who does know. So I'm already getting a lot more value as an app navigator out of the help desk in the new system, even though I know that probably some folks miss the old system. I hope everyone will give it a chance. It functions kind of like a mix between like the old like bulletin boards and that we used to have back in the day before other types of social media, and a little bit like Twitter in that you have to scroll up to see the most recent things. I know that not everybody's familiar with that, and so there's a little bit of a learning curve, but I promise if you stick with me and we just keep working it out, we're gonna find a way through, and it will be a really great tool for, oh, there's that thing tonight I want to go to. I need the Zoom link. Oh, I think today is Crystal Visions. Let me go find the reminder. Oh, where's that video I was looking for? I can go and find the link, and it will start to become more functional. And it becomes more and more functional the more we use it. All right, so looking for other questions. Yeah, go ahead. There's a question from Cosette.
A few questions.
Great.
So I think for me, one of the challenges has been that I don't always know what I have seen and what I haven't seen. So it is necessary to actually, and this is the question, even though it sounds like a statement, it is actually necessary, right, to go into every section to see if there's something new. Like there's no notifying if there's like you've read everything in here, there's new content in this one.
Good question. There is kind of a way. So for example, if you go to that temple section on your phone, then if you click under, say, Goddess Temple, you can very quickly see on this page, and I'll show you mine, see how most of the areas, most of the titles are in red, but the bazaar one is in black.
Mm-hmm.
The black title means there's something there you haven't seen.
Oh, great.
And that's the same. So you don't actually have to go into every one of the 8 channels there. You just have to go into the area, Goddess Temple or Mandala members or whichever ones you belong to, and then look to see which titles are black rather than dark kind of mauve. And the black ones are the ones that you haven't seen yet.
Great, thank you. And then my other question was, when I'm reading something of someone's, there's no reaction buttons, right? There's no liking it. You either reply or you don't reply.
That's right. There's not reaction buttons. And I know that can be like a controversial thing. Sometimes people really like to have a reaction. I've been really, kind of sitting with it because on the one hand, I was and am so familiar with having reaction buttons in my other social media. But on the other hand, I also feel like sometimes the reaction buttons like become a shorthand for what would otherwise be a more meaningful connection. So I'd say that, in the time it would take you to go click to a heart, you could also go click, put a heart emoji, and just hit send. And it's still a reaction, even though it's not just like a little, I approve this post or I like this post. It's still there. The heart centeredness is still there. And bonus, you also get an eye roll emoji, which you don't get on a lot of other social media. So if there's something someone posts and they're like, can you believe this thing that happened? You get your eye roll emoji, which I know on Facebook, we all wish we had sometimes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Those were great questions. Do we have any other questions here? Let me see if I have another one in my inbox here. Okay. It looks like those were all the ones that were submitted to me. Oh, wait, I think there's a couple more. Hang on. Here we go. So one of the things that has happened is that some folks are having a hard time with getting signed in or getting a password reset. This is something that's happened especially for folks with iPhones, but it's been kind of across the board. Different people, different phones have had this issue. So there's 2 pieces of info. One is that if you go to the Goddess Temple 2.0 app and you enter the email address and password that you used for the old one, you can't just use that to log in. You need to use that to sign up, and then you can log in after that. But because it's a new infrastructure, it's gonna require you to sign up, and I can't do that for you because I didn't have your password from the old app. That's something that only you have access to. So you have to sign up and then you can log in. However, some folks have found that, like, when the app updates, you get automatically logged out. Like, I know when I submit an update to the Apple Store and then the update is accepted, the next time I go into the app, I've automatically been locked out, or not locked out, I logged out, and I have to log in again. And of course, being, like, of the internet, we often forget our passwords. The phone doesn't always remember the password. The computer doesn't always remember the password. So sometimes we're going to need to reset the password. What I've found is that if you go to reset the password from the phone, sometimes you might have issues with getting that email to your inbox. I have not had problems with it. I've had to reset my password a bunch of times, and because I forget it, and then I have to go back in and reset, and I always get the emails, but a couple other people haven't gotten the emails. Check your spam folder just in case. Check your promotions folder also. But if you can't get in, I'm going to show you what to do. I'm going to share my screen. So if you're at the login screen, and let's just pretend there's no password here, then you can click forgot password. And where you go to get this is this URL, goddess-temple-2.passion.io. Passion.io is the company that provides the infrastructure for this app. So I've trained my computer to remember my passwords because I can't. But if you want to reset your password and you're having a hard time doing it from the phone, I did get notification today that one of the ladies who was having a hard time getting it reset from her phone tried it from the computer and it worked for her. So that's something to just note. And I'm going to share one more time, because I did want to show you when you log in. So it automatically takes you to this Explore page. And then just the same way as before, as on the app, we have the classes section, the temple section with its various channels. And the same thing happens here, where if it's in black, there's something here I haven't seen. Let's go have a look. Oh, how great. Priestess Divana this is her last day of their 22% off sale, which I want to go and take a look at. So then if you want to get back out of there, there's your arrow up here to the left, and it takes you back to the channel. Down here, your check-ins, same kind of a thing. You can go and do your lessons and homework check-in, and finally your profile check-in. It's all really quite the same on the phone as it is on the screen, but on the screen it is bigger. And so that might be useful for some folks, especially if you have the need for the computer to read something aloud to you. I would especially recommend the browser experience for anybody who is sight impaired or diversely abled, to where they need their computer to read things to them, because then you'll have a fully integrated experience there. And I have tried to add like descriptions wherever I can of images and things like that, so that you'll have that rich description. Some folks said they've had a hard time getting the app to accept your payment method. in most cases, it's going to be, you're going to be using, like, if you're signing up for a class or you're signing up for something, you're going to be using a payment method that is linked to either your Apple or your Google account if you're working from the phone version. But if you're working from the browser version, then you should be able to add your payment details more easily. And so that would be the fix that I would suggest as best possible, is to log in, remember that part, and remember your password if you can. But if not, use the reset password from the browser. And then once you're signed in, you should be able to enter payment details. If you're having a hard time getting that info, to square up, please do reach out to me personally and let me know, because there's all kinds of things about the payment gateway that, of course, should be just automatic and easy, but sometimes maybe aren't. And every time you ask me about it, it gives me something so that I can go study it and figure out what the solution is. Looking at, sometimes in this area of the app, that if you're having a hard time getting your password to work, sometimes you may have, and this has happened to me, and I don't know this is the case for everyone, but sometimes my computer remembers an old password and doesn't update with the new one. So then when I go to log in, it's my old password, and of course it doesn't work. So just make sure that in wherever your computer stores your passwords, if you do use stored passwords, that you update it. And sometimes I have a MacBook. So what ends up happening is that I will notice that sometimes I get multiple instances in my passwords account under my MacBook and also under my Chrome. And those are my two main places that store my passwords. So in my Chrome, I have to actually go in and manually delete the old instances of logins. So like, it may be that that's the case for you. And again, if you have any trouble doing that, or you think that might be something that's a problem for you, and you're like, okay, Yesha, you just like went over my head, go ahead and reach out to me. We'll set up a time so that I can help you do that. Okay. I know that this is a lot that we've kind of covered in this hour, and I don't want to kind of keep people on here forever. I'm hoping that this little 1-hour tutorial and troubleshooting will help you. If there are any more questions, let me peek down in the chat. I don't see any, but if there are any more questions, you can always send them to me at Priestess Yesha in the app, or you can email them to me, or you can text them to me if you have my text. I'll just be honest, sending them to me in the app or sending them to me via text will get a quicker answer, because my Google is currently exploding, and it tells me that I've run out of storage. I've used up an entire Google account. So I have to get in there and delete things to make room for new ones. And that's just what it's like, because I've been on the road and it's been hard to get to all of the emails. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for working it out. I know it's all new and that there's some aspects of it that are uncomfortable to get used to. And I know for some of us, it's like, ugh, technology is already not my favorite, and now I have to do more. I just want to say thank you so much for making the effort. A lot of the things that you're querying about, I hope I answered tonight. And I'm really looking forward to the new year when A, we get all the goddesses and guides lessons back in there. B, the Woman Shaman Priestess and Sky Dancer and Via Carmen Pythia lessons will all be published in book format and or Kindle format and sent to you. C, when the Priestess Maxims actually also becomes its own book and is available. And D, that we get to greater familiarity with this platform, and that the platform continues to respond to us. Oh, I'm glad. It looks like Enodia said, this was very informative. Thank you very much. Well, good. And happy apping. And I'll see you all later. Take care.